Hey, welcome to All Things Business. Al Thomas here. Boy, have I got a good one for you today. Living to the max. Living to the max. Just think about that thought. How many people you know live to the max? Before we get started, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please do so. Hit the bell notification, and please, by all means, leave a comment. We love our comments. Ladies and gentlemen, living to the max is so important to understand. Living to the max. One of the things about living to the max is when I think about living to the max, I think about Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant lived to the max. Lived to the max. I got a sound going on in the background. 1 second. Oh my God. I had an alarm I had to get set up. Living to the max. Kobe Bryant lived his life to the max. So many people always want to live to the max. Let me ask you a question. Take a moment. What would you do if you and you could not fail? What would you do? Why is it that we always say we're going to do something, but we never do it for ourselves? Interesting conversation I had with the leader this morning. You know, we always do something for a friend or a loved one, but never for ourselves. We put it off. I don't know why that is. It's kind of human nature. But what would you do if you could not fail? Think about it for a second. That's a real philosophical question. What would you do if you could not fail? Well, I like to say this. You can't, because God doesn't make junk. What would you do? Well, you know, Mr. Thomas, I was going to travel. Well, why don't you? I was going to buy a new vehicle. Why don't you? You know, what about buying something for somebody you love? Something they always wanted, a gift. What about doing something special for somebody special in life? What about, you know, a story? I'm going to tell you a story. I'm not going to give any names. I have a friend always told me for decades, I mean, 5 years, 2 years, I'm going to take my dad to the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to take it to the Kentucky Derby. And he said this for so many years, maybe a decade of it. He had plenty of time to do it, but he kept procrastination. And would you know, his dad passed away. He never took him to the Kentucky Derby. What would you do if you could not fail? Do you know people like that? Always going to do one day, one day, one day. My question to you, what would you do if you could not fail? Question, if you only had 48 hours to live and you're going home to glory, what would you do differently? What would you do? What I would say is start doing this, and I do it every day. Live life to its fullest. Cram is every minute with something important in your life to do. I never want to be average or ordinary. You know, I never want to drive an average car, live an ordinary home. And to me, that's saying living below average. You know, what do you really want to do? What would you do if you could not fail? What could you do? I'm going to read something to you that Winston Churchill said, and I quote, I have a question for you. What would you do if you only had 40 hours to live? What would you do differently? Just imagine. Write down at least 7 things you would do. 7. I guarantee you, you would rush to do these things if you are on top of your list and it's been on there for a while. But if you only had 48 hours, you need to rush and go do them. Wow, that was so powerful. Take action today. Don't wait for one day. What would you do if you could not fail? Live life to the max. You know, one of the things I also want to share, one of the things that I says, and this is one of my little quotes I had written down here. We all procrastinate. We don't know why. Take a moment and think about, why do we say that? Remember, what's your answer? Every day passes, life gets a little shorter. Let me repeat that. Every day that passes, life gets a little shorter. I would highly recommend that you get into the list of your 7 things that you want. Everybody knows that we all have an expiration date. Everything on earth have an expiration date, but you don't know when yours is, or when you're leaving this spaceship called Earth. Is it time that you start getting into action? Live life to the max? Think about it. Time is an hourglass. It has always been, it always catches up to us. What are you going to do with the time that you have left? And no man or woman know the limits of that time. Start living life to the max. You know, I've been to 39 countries. I've been not debating, it's just wrong choice of word. I've been thinking I got to hit my 30th before this year's out. You know why? Because time is short. Do something today that gets your heart beating. Do something today to get your pulse going. Do something to get your blood pressure up. Scare yourself a little bit. Push yourself. Why we live in a land of comfortability when there's not exciting anything going on in our lives? You know, I'm going to tell you a story about Art Linkletter and Walt Disney. Art Linkletter was buying Orange Grove, California. Walt Disney was buying Orange Grove, California, put out a little amusement park called Disneyland. Remember this? Okay, Disneyland. So he called up some investors, and he called up the TV host back in the 50s and 60s named Art Linkletter. And he called him up and says, come here, I want to show you what I'm going to do out here. He took him out, got out of his vehicle, walked out on all this dirt. It was nothing but orange groves and dirt. And he showed him, hey, I'm going to put Disneyland over here. I'm going to have a small teacup over here. It's a Wonderful World going over here. I'm going to have slides over here. And he pointed out for about an hour what he's going to do in that vacant land. And Art Linkletter said this, I can't see it. Not for me. And Art Linkletter later on said this, every step he took back to his vehicle cost him $1 million in profit. $1 million per step going back to his vehicle because he told Walt Disney and it won't work. Can you imagine what that felt like? Every step was $1 million, $4 million, $5 million. Can you imagine the money he missed out on because he didn't see the vision? But yet and still, what did Disney do? He lived life to the max. Now we see Disneylands all over the world, even in Japan, China, everywhere around the world. Each step cost him $1 million. You know, other people that lived their life to the max was Art Williams with A.L. Williams. He had a dream. Martin Luther King lived life to a max. He had a dream. Steve Jobs, he had a dream called Apple. Jeff Bezos, he had a dream called Amazon. What are your dreams? What are your dreams? So start living your life to the max. You know, I just want to say this. Kobe Bryant lived his life to the max. I want to give you a couple of quotes that I thought that was pretty significant. You know, in 2017 on ESPN interview, 3 years before his death, he said this, and I quote, I want my kids to understand the importance of hard work. I want them to learn that nothing comes easy. And being great, being what? Great. Being what? Great, which is you. Being great requires focus and sacrifice and commitment. Let me say it again. Being great requires focus, sacrifice, and commitment. Let me say that one more time, the whole quote. I want my kids to understand. What about your kids? The importance of hard work. People that you love, do they know how hard you work? I want them to learn that nothing comes easy, because it doesn't. And being great requires what? Focus, sacrifice, and commitment. Now, that's an interview he gave in 2017 on ESPN interview 3 years before his death. That was such a powerful thought. I said, wow, that's amazing. The greats are great because they are all in. Why? Because they live their life to the max. Why? They put it all on the line. Why? They do it every day. Why? They make it look easy, but it's not. Like he said, it takes sacrifice. And he said this in 2019, just a month before his crash in the helicopter, to GQ magazine. He says, my daughters are and my daughters are everything to me. My legacy is theirs now. I'm just building the foundation. They'll build the future. Wow, that was powerful. Let me say that again. GQ magazine posted this in 2019, just a months before his crash. And it said this, my daughters are everything to me. My legacy is theirs now. And I'm building the foundation, and they'll build the future. Because he lived life to the max. He started Granite Studios, Manga Enterprises, Enterprises, his body armor business, his book collection for children, his investments, he said, I'm doing everything for the long game. I'm doing everything in other words, he had no short-term vision. He had long-term vision. He was shaping the next generation of athletes. the next generation of athletes, who are you shaping? What's your long game? Are you all in? Are you living life to the max every day? Steve Jobs lived the max every day. Martin Luther King lived the max every day. Jeff Bezos lived the max every day. What about you? In closing, I have something powerful that Kobe Bryant said. His motto was, own, don't rent. Build, don't borrow. Let me say it again. He said, own, don't rent. Build, don't borrow. Al Thomas, I'm here to tell you, and I want to say this. Your job is to live your life to the max each and every day. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Remember, live life to the max. God bless you. Please subscribe, hit the like button, thumbs up, leave a comment below. Send this out to several people and watch a blessing come back to you. Live your life to the max. God bless. Thank you.